Hello, everyone. Okay, it's critique time. I have three critiques here. I have Bridget's, Carol's, and I have Marion's. And I'm going to show you a couple of suggestions. However, I look at Bridget's painting, and I see nothing but beauty. This is magnificent. The way she brought in the movement in here. It was just handled in such a nice way. She also took the time to right up in here and take a few more brush strokes to show the back part of the vase. Also, I wanted to show you guys the vase. Here it is. Okay, here's the vase that had the onions and the garlic and all that good stuff. And it's a fun piece of glass. It really is. It was a gift from my students a while back ago. I guess when I was taking like a little leave of absence to write the book, this was my gift for leaving when I was leaving, so it was a goodbye gift. Anyway, that's that, and now on with the show. Okay, so when I receive a image from a student of a painting of this quality, I find it very hard to find something to critique about. I remember when I was in school, the professor would say, "Oh, everything's just fine, Joyce," and I would never get a critique, and that drove me crazy, because I knew there had to be one or two things he saw. But anyway, so here's what I'm thinking, Bridget. Right up in here, you have a little light, and I see a little bit of a light right here, and that's typical to happen. It's so small, you guys probably can't even see it. But when you actually look at mine, I do have a little bit of a highlight right there that all that is the background did not meet up to the onion. And over here, there's a little funny little shape that I would like to change. So we're going to talk about, just filling in that little gap right there. So with a damp brush, I like using the squares because they seem to be a nice soft scrub. You can take some water, touch that up, move it around, move it, and see if you can soften that edge a little bit. And then whatever color combo you have, be it the background or the foreground, or the subject, I'm going to fill in my background and I'm going to knock in a little bit of green right there and just kind of move it along. But you don't want to make a big deal out of it because, look, you're going to end up with a little bandage looking type thing. So with it just, I wipe my brush off on my paper towel, and then you can come in and just kind of smooth it, smooth it, smooth it. Okay, and now I'm going to go back in with some red. Touch that up. For you, Bridget, I'm sure yours isn't going to be as complicated as mine because you just have a few little highlights. Now, all you have to do is actually brush a little bit of red right on over yours. But this is a good example for all of us, like when we don't bring the background all the way to the edge. It used to drive me crazy when I first started painting, and I put my background in, and I would miss a little edge. I had to teach myself how to, fix the edges. Now, a lot of people, they there's some areas where sometimes you don't want that hard edge in a still life or you're painting, and you want to go back and you just kind of want to scrub an edge and soften, because you don't want everything to be crystal clear, hard edged in a painting. You want some areas to soften, because it looks like I cut it out and then I pasted it onto this background, right? So you can pull some of that background color back onto the garlic here, here, and then of course over here. Do that again. And then that gives me an opportunity to really kind of change this a little bit right in here. What I think what I'll do is put a little more background color in there. And I'm going to knock that in. There's some red right on that edge. Yeah. Just knock it in, and soften, soften. And there you have it. So that's my one suggestion to you, Bridget. And another critique I have. See, I just can't leave things alone. Darn it. I am so bad that way. I'm going to soften, soften, soften. Right along. I'm just going to add some, keep adding water. So me being me, I always overwork things. I always fiddle a little too long, especially when I'm demoing because I'm not telling myself to stop. It happens even when I'm not demoing. Who am I kidding? Let's see. So if this happens to you, then what you can do is, I'm going to add a little more green back there. I think I can make that work. You can just flood it with water. Like let's say, you know how I dropped that red in there and I really didn't mean to. You can flood it with water and then let it move on down. Now, poor Bridget, this was her critique, and now I'm taking time to, you know, show you a technique. So ignore that, but soften your edges, yes. Soften your edges, yes. Don't put red in your, you know, back in as much as I did. Now, oh, for Bridget, one more thing. I was looking at your piece. This is great. This is great. You don't have to change it, but I would suggest to put some more color into your shadow. And all you have to do is take, I'm going to take another sample piece right here. Oh, don't look at me. I just washed my hair, and I'm supposed to have people over tonight for the World Series, so I'm trying to get this done for you guys so I won't be thinking about it. Let's just take this one. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece and I'll turn it this way. And I'm hoping the tape holds it. I have to put another piece of tape there. Okay. And let's say, you know, I wanted to add more color here. And again, Bridget, right here, I'm looking at this shadow right in here, okay? And you can take a damp brush, pre-mix some of the colors that you want to drop in. Damp brush, wet. You can wet. You don't have to wet the whole area. You can kind of dance it in a little bit. And yeah, there you go. And then going to take some of the Permanent Alizarin Crimson, maybe. And I really loaded my brush up. I'm sure it's going to be a little too much, but I'm tap that in. Do you see how we're just letting the water do its thing right here? And you can tap in a little bit more color because this color will reflect through the glass. It picks up the glass. It's that, it's the whole prism. It's not the prism that's creating these colors. It's actually the different facets that are in here. And it breaks up the local color that the glass picks up. I went to a dinner party not this weekend, a week ago, and I sat next to an engineer, and we started talking about math and geometry and so forth. And so I asked him if he knew about the Fibonacci numbers, you know, the whole theory behind it. And he said, yes, he did. And so we talked about that for a while. And then he goes, do you know about fractures? And I said, yes, I do. And he said, he looked around the room. There was probably, 30 people at this dinner party. And he said, what are the odds that I'm sitting? He goes, nobody knows about that except, you know, I guess people that are engineers or. He goes, and for me to sit next to somebody that knows about it, and he goes, because look around. He goes, if I were to look in this whole room, you know, I bet that no, these people do not know about. So we talked about it a little bit. It's kind of like it's a thing that happens in nature when a branch breaks and it's a fractured, and it's the elements of the Fibonacci theory, and it's and the ratio of how it breaks. But I told them, I said, that's a different theory. My theory is how light breaks up the facets within glass. And he said, yes, that's, you know, because it's used in so many different ways. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. My apologies. So here you go. Here's your, you can, you know, add whatever you want. I'm thinking I want to add a little more purple up in here. This is too blue. And so you can add a little more of a violet if you like. And then just leave it alone and let it dry. And then once it dries, then you can give it the old check it out once it's dried, and then see if you want to, you know, add anything else. Okay, so let's see, what else do we have? Now we have, we're going to have Carol. Okay, but anyway, Bridget, awesome job. I mean, my God, the garlic, the way you got the little threads of the garlic. Here's the garlic right here. The threads of the garlic and the movement of the garlic, just superb, just superb. It's just wonderful, and I love painting this part too. This was really fun for me. So when in doubt, pull out a piece of garlic, onion, and on our next one you can slice an orange in half and start looking at how the orange looks. So that's just a little tip on getting more info that's not given to you within the lesson. You can go searching for it yourself. Okay, so now we have Carol. Carol did a background. Good job, Carol. Okay, so Carol and I actually Skyped each other, and I did a background for her, and this is the result of that background. Now, mine turned out pretty linear, right? Not a big fan of how how it worked, but it was because it was on an easel. And I didn't have much of a choice but to let it run this way. You know, I turned it upside down. And I'm going to do that again. And I'm kind of glad that it ended up like this because Carol, I'm going to show you how to fix this background because she wrote me earlier and wants to know. If she thought she should scrub. And I said, no scrubbing. Okay, so I'm going to put this right up here for now. Well, you can't see it. So here it is, mental picture. What? There you go. And then we're going to take mine, turn it upside down, and hopefully I can do this right. Now, it might take a couple passes, and a couple passes meaning I'm going to take a wet brush, a big wet brush, and just move it over all of this pigment. That's why you don't want to scrub, because you want the pigment to stay close to the surface, okay? So let's do that, and I'm going to see if I can get this to tack down. Of course I can't. Why would it? Why would it while I'm filming, right? Let me try this, and I'm going to do this, because I have a board back here trying to get this paper flat. And I'm not painting on a canvas because the demo pieces were, I'm going to lay this back a little bit. I think that'll work, yeah. The demo pieces that I worked on, I worked on 140 for the show, and I chose not to work on canvases on the program until towards the third season, because I wanted not to distract so much about the difference. I wanted everyone to look at the process and not the actual product that I was painting on. Plus, they're thick and it's kind of clunky changing from painting to painting. Okay, so now I'm taking a nice large brush. I have a couple large brushes. I thought I brought the second one in. Oh, here it is. Okay. I got a couple large brushes like this guy right here. Wow. This is, oh my goodness. I want to say this is 2 inches, but it's not. It's two. It looks like it's 2.5, maybe in 3. Doesn't matter. Just get one of your bigger brushes, and I'm going to have a paper towel handy because every time I move with the water, on my brush, you want to wipe off the excess pigment. You don't want to just keep going back in. Okay, so I'm going to take my brush. Oh, look how it fits right in there nicely. I planned it that way, right? Okay, and then keep moving it, moving it, moving it. And of course it's not moving for me. Okay, come on over. Maybe when the pigment gets a little heavier. Okay, keep moving. Look. You see that? That's how much is coming off, okay? Now, my suggestion to you is, get it nice and damp. Get your background nice and damp, okay? And again, look how much is coming off, okay? You don't want to overwork. So there's a real fine line between moving your pigment and overworking your pigment. Okay, and I'm adding a little more water. Move it right on down over here. Oh, look at that, fits right perfectly again. Okay, again, don't clean my brush. And it kind of starts moving in the second, with the second pass, because the water hits the surface and starts to dissolve the pigment somewhat. Up and over, up and over. Here we go. A little bit more. So, while I'm doing this, let's talk about next week. Next week, we're going to start on the orange juice squeezer. And I'm hoping that we can do a little more video conference chat sessions I would love to do that with you guys. Tell me what you prefer, if you want to do Skype or if you have Google. And Google is kind of a fun one. It's called Google Hangout. And you don't have to have a Google account. All you have to do is go to Google and then type in Google Hangout. And you can download the app. And it'll if you have a camera. You need a camera on your computer. So I had one gal, one session, and she, we went through the whole process of how to, and I was still really new to it, and I'm still really new to it because I don't use it enough to really be all that tech savvy. But she, at the very end, she goes, "Oh, I can hear you," and I'm going, "Oh, good. Now turn on your camera." And she goes, "But I don't have a camera." So and I go, "Okay, that might help, but you can listen if you want," because we were trying to do a group conference, and and that could be a possibility. It's just really tough to get everybody in the same time zone, and But if you all want to discuss it in the chat, in the message board where you guys talk amongst each other, you can do that if you all can kind of come to a compromise. But that's something you can figure out on your own. I can't take all that much time to coordinate. So if you guys want to coordinate a chat session, I'll be available for you all next week. If you want to just do a one-on-one, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to. Arrange a time, and we can work with that. Now, I can talk you through the Google, the Google thing and or the Skype thing, but you just have to. If you don't have Skype and you don't have Google and you're not really sure how to use it. Maybe have somebody come and help you set it up, because again, I'm not that tech savvy, and I just, I don't know. So there you go, Carol. And let it dry. Don't go back in. Leave it be. And what I would do with this actually is once it dries, I would go back in with a nice glaze of like maybe a phthalo blue and just kind of even everything out. Or it looks like, yeah, it looks like you have phthalo blue there. That phthalo blue over your green. See, I would take this and go phthalo blue, and just move it on through. You can do it all in one pass, but I wanted you to see how you can move without adding pigment. But I'm a huge believer in just putting a glaze over it and putting it down. But that's just me, and I tend to overwork things. So I didn't want to. Let me see if I have another background. No, I don't. Okay, so there's that. Now, but let's look at Carol's one more time before we move on. I think this turned out marvelous right in here. The glass is just, it's great. I mean, once you learn all of this and the secondary, techniques and the secondary areas will all come together. It's like you learn this, you concentrate on this, and then I throw background in on you. But the background is always, it generally takes a couple times to get the background right. But nice job, Carol. And I know how hard you've worked on this, so good job. The beveled edges look beautiful. Okay, so now, last but not least, we have Marion from Germany. And let's see if I can get this off. Okay, I didn't plan on ripping this off. Okay. I try and pre-plan these demos so it goes a little smoother than what just happened. Okay, Marion. I'm going to show Marion's piece. Now, I love this piece. This, to me, Marion's piece means it just has that quality of the skin here is it's just done perfectly. The glass and her dark background, I mean, gosh, it's just flawless, the background. I'm not one for one value, one color, but when other people do it, I do enjoy looking at it. I just think it's great. However, what I was going to suggest, Miss Marion, is right here. This is a deep red. This is a lighter color. It looks like there's a little bit more purple, deeper purple. But these two have to match. I know they're different once it's inside the glass, but it's still, let's match them up a little bit more. And all that takes is a glaze on the upper part, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. And if you choose not to do this, that's fine too. Because sometimes it's like, I am done with this piece. I do not want to touch this piece again. I am done. I did my homework. I turned in my assignment. Please don't make me ever look at this again. And it might be one of those things you can't get back to, or you don't even want to think about for a while. There you go. And there is a highlight there. And for the highlights, did a good job on your highlight too. Yeah. So for the highlights, you can come in and just kind of move, those edges. Just kind of gently bring them around. I went to this workshop last weekend, and it was Chris Beck. If you look her up, you'll see her work. Her work's awesome. But she showed all kinds of fun tips on how to, get in there and move a certain edge, a stubborn edge, or a little bit of a, soften an edge. Because she has a lot of fun highlights. She does a lot of these fun pieces that are kind of like old-fashioned toys. They're vintage, she said. They're vintage. So, so that was really fun learning her techniques. That's why I haven't taken a workshop, but I took 2 this year. One from Kathleen Alexander, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant painter. I mean, exquisite. And then I took another one with Chris Beck, who is equally as brilliant. It's just it's a different style. But which was fun because Chris Beck had all these really cool techniques and things I'd never seen done before because she developed them all on her own. And she was sharing them with us, which I thought was very generous. Okay, so just come in here and take some of your deep red, Marion, that deep red, and just apply it here, okay? Doesn't have to be as dark as this. Just bring some of that red up in here so there's not a huge disconnect. Okay, so good job, you guys. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Next week, we're going to be working on the orange juice squeezer. And let me know how those, I handed in to you guys the newer version of the reference photo. So I hope that you've all downloaded those and printed it out and you're getting ready for next week's lesson. Skype, Google Hangout, whatever you want to do. Beth from New Mexico and I had a Google Hangout yesterday. That was very fun. We got to know each other. It's really quite fun. We just chit chat, and I got to meet her sister and see her cat that she just had neutered. And so there you have it. Okay, goodbye, y'all, and I'll talk to you later. And go Giants, because that's what's going on in my world today, the World Series. Okay, bye-bye.